Are you sending that there to intimidate the Cuban government?
No, not at all. The Cuba, look, it's a failed country. Everybody knows it. They don't have electricity. They don't have money. They don't have really anything. They don't have food. And we're going to help them along, and we're going to help them because the people, because number one, I want to help them. I don't want to on a humanitarian basis, but we have the Cuban American population, much of it living in Miami and Florida. That's a great group of people, amazing group of people, industrious, they're great Americans. They've wanted this to happen. They want to go back to their country. They want to help their country. I hope they're going to stay here, but they want to go back. They want to invest in their country and, see if they can bring it back. Other presidents have looked at this for 50, 60 years doing something, and it looks like I'll be the one that does it.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I hope he doesn't actually go invade Cuba, but even if he does, is he going to really help? Well, we've got more details on whether they're actually going to invade Cuba, but are we really going to be at war with Cuba and Iran, let alone Venezuela at the same time? Let's find out, yes.
Yeah, so what we just watched was Trump saying that he is gonna be the president to finally do something to help Cuba. That's what he said, help Cuba. Sure, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna help Cuba to recover from the results of his actions. We were just talking about American imperialism. This is what we're talking about. So the issues that Cuba is facing across the island are thanks to Trump's energy blockade, which has caused energy blackouts and food shortages, and also a fuel crisis, no big deal. So earlier this week, Marco Rubio weighed in on what the future relationship of Cuba and the United States could look like. Marco Rubio, who is, by the way, the son of Cuban immigrants, says that the US would prefer to negotiate an agreement with Cuba. And when asked about negotiating an agreement with Cuba, he said, I'm just being honest with you, the likelihood of that happening, given who we're dealing with right now, is not high. I'm sure his ancestors are thrilled with him. Rubio has doubled down on the threat that Cuba poses as well. On Thursday, Rubio said Cuba poses a serious national security threat to America because of its security and intelligence ties with China and Russia and friendly relations with US foes in Latin America. The fact that Cuba is a serious threat to the United States of America is laughable, and I hope people are laughing when they hear something like that coming out of Marco Rubio's mouth. So China does support Cuba safeguarding its sovereignty, but that possibility continues to just drift away as the Trump administration does not believe they can work with Cuba's government. And in the past few months, top Trump aides, including Rubio, CIA Chief John Ratcliffe, and other national security officials have met with Cuban officials in recent months to explore possible improvements in relations. But the US side has come away unimpressed from those talks, leading to even more sanctions imposed on the Cuban government in the past week. And when asked whether the US would use force in Cuba to change the island's political system, Marco Rubio repeated that a diplomatic settlement was preferred, but noted that the president always has the option to do whatever it takes to support and protect the national interest. If you say anything is in the national interest, if you create any kind of foe or any kind of opposition and say this is dangerous, then apparently our government has full authority to just do whatever it wants. And by our government, I really just mean Donald Trump, because nobody in our government is opposing this man anyway. So Trump has been threatening military action in Cuba ever since ousting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. We all remember when that happened. And the Trump administration is clearly pushing now for a regime change in Cuba. So Trump has ratcheted up talk of regime change in Cuba after pledging to conduct a friendly takeover of the country if its leadership did not open its economy to American investment and kick out US adversaries. I have no idea what a friendly takeover even would be or what that would look like, but it's just a dog whistle. So last week, Axios released a report that Cuba allegedly has acquired more than 300 military drones to potentially attack the United States. And some people are just not buying it, including Benny Johnson.
Says that Cuba has acquired 300 military drones and that they plan on flying them and potentially hitting the United States of America. Okay, this is, I mean, that it's an op. I don't buy this, right? Like, why would Cuba ever consider doing this unless it was a false flag? Unless it's a false flag that's getting set up by our by the American administration. And that's what I believe that this is. Cuba has discussed striking Florida and Guantanamo Bay. So the Cuban dictators can't even keep the electricity on in their homes. They don't even have indoor plumbing. They're not going to be striking America, I don't think.
Okay, well, like, don't get too excited because Benny Johnson still ended by supporting and endorsing military action in Cuba. He's always going to support the government, but right-wing media is selling the Trump administration's regime change plan right now. Some of the most vocal regime change advocates have been right-wing Spanish language media. So on May 19th, Augustin Acosta, the co-host of Actualidad Radio's Cara Tarde, argued that if Trump believes he can fix Cuba while leaving the regime in power, the president is either completely wrong or has started to lose his mind. And he went on to say, in Cuba, there is nothing that can be fixed, absolutely nothing that can be fixed while leaving the dictatorship in power. That is absolutely impossible. There's a lot going on here. We've seen this now in Venezuela. We are seeing whatever is happening in Iran with Israel. There's a lot of foreign interference for the America First president. He's done a lot of stuff and none of it has really been supported by the American people. And he's just gonna do it again because honestly, like he did it in Venezuela and he got away with it, right? Like nothing bad happened to him because of what he did in Venezuela. We're always gonna see people from those countries who support somebody like Trump coming in and overturning their dictator or whoever their leader is, because they're gonna say, you know what, that was a bad guy and we had to get rid of him. And thank you, Trump, for coming in and getting rid of the guy because we couldn't do it, right? Ultimately, though, the United States does not go in and help another country unless there is a significant reward for the American people, and by American people, I actually mean the government this time. The people, the Trump cronies, the people who are actually going to benefit from this, the corporations, the oil companies, things like that. Cenk, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, is Cuba a national security threat to us? You'd have to be a moron to believe that. I mean, even Benny Johnson, and I don't mean it in terms of intelligence. I just mean a better lapdog has not been invented yet. So, I mean, I don't think that Benny would disagree much. Well, certainly he would disagree about that characterization, but disagree much that he says that Trump is right about everything, right? He's right. Lately, he's been fighting Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's not sufficiently loyal enough to Donald Trump as opposed to the principles they pretended to have. So it's not like he's a paragon of like journalism and standing up to the powerful on his side. No, but even he has to roll his eyes. Really, they're gonna attack us with 300 drones? Yeah, they're about to take over South Beach as we speak. Wow, 300 drones. Why would Cuba attack us? Attack us first? Come on, nobody's that stupid. Like, I don't think there's a single person in the country that stupid. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Are there really Trump followers who are like, oh yeah, man, I think Cuba's about to take over Albany. We got to go get him. I got family in Albany. Come on, man. I mean, these lies are so preposterous, so over the top. And we're gonna attack Cuba in the middle of this war with Iran. There's an old Turkish saying, a sunk fish swims sideways. I don't have to tell you what that means. No, I do. If this fish has gotten to the bottom of the ocean, it's already sunk. It's just gonna float sideways. It's just gonna keep going in the direction that it was going. So we're like, okay, Venezuela, oh, I'm anti-war. I demand peace prizes. Bomb Venezuela, bomb Iran. By the way, bomb 7 other countries we never even talk about. Bomb Cuba, invade them, take over. What is this? But the problem is he's sinking our fish. It's not like this only affects Trump. Yeah, by the end, he'll be a laughing stock. And I think that he'll probably be driven from office. He'll be so unpopular. What kind of guy says he's anti-war and this starts an endless string of nonsensical wars? Like we had nothing better to do. Our kids were so well fed and so well educated and we all have universal health care. We don't have to worry about it, that we gotta go invade Cuba so that a bunch of rich Cubans in Miami could be happy about it. And to the point that he has made, the diaspora in this country and all across the world are different than the people who live in that country. So my pharmacist is Iranian. I went there the other day before he would even give me anything. He gave me a lecture about how bad the Iranian regime is. Brother, I know how bad the Iranian regime is. That's not the question. The question is, are you going to help them or hurt them by attacking them? They're going to rally around the flag. The regime is going to get stronger, not weaker. And you don't fix anything by bombing people. But that brother hasn't been back to Iran, as he told me, for 30 years. So he wants to be able to go back. And he's totally disconnected from the people on the ground. I say that as context because in our politics, the second most powerful ethnic group are the Cuban Americans. And they are constantly demanding war. My whole lifetime, they've been like, you have to go to war for us. We had casinos back there. We had land. We had so much money. I want my money back. I want my casinos back. I want all my wealth and power back. But brother, that stuff was like half a century ago, man. Get off our ass with what you want and all the money that you want from Cuba. The people that live in Cuba now, they're not worried about casinos. The lights are literally this point because we're starving them. We block their oil, which affects food and everything else. They only have electricity for 2 hours a day. That's it. You think those guys who are starving are gonna come attack us? Or that there's some sort of threat to us? Or we gotta bomb them? No, that's absolutely insane. Last thing is, does this Congress even exist anymore? Congress is supposed to declare wars, not the president. But they just sit there and they're like, okay, the Tom Massey laws, we worship you, Donald Trump. Those are the Republicans' losers. And then the Democrats are like, we are theoretically against war. Did the check clear from AIPAC? Yeah, we will vote on it later. Our vote doesn't matter? We vote no. Like, so nobody's even fighting against, like we've got this idiot monster declaring war all across the world and there's almost no opposition. There's like 2 guys opposing, Massey who just lost and Ro Khanna. So we've got 1 guy in Congress trying to end this war. Massey's still gonna be around for 7 months, so 2 guys. And looks like that's about it. I know Bernie tries and a couple other guys try, but overall the opposition here against Trump is pathetically weak.
It's dangerously weak, I would say. And this kind of goes back to the earlier story where we were talking about the perception of the American government versus people. And it's very hard to be like, we're fighting against this as hard as we can when our actual representatives in government are doing very, very little, if anything, to actually oppose the actions of this administration and this president, right? It's terrible. And as I said earlier, the longer we let this go on, the more things become normalized, the more terrible precedents are set. We're in the middle of a mid-decade redistricting campaign right now. And it's like, have people remembered that this is very not normal and we cannot let this continue? This never should have happened in the first place, but we don't have a functioning Congress right now. And the thing that we're seeing with this particular administration that is so baffling and jarring is that the lies are so stupid coming out of this administration that I'm honestly kind of impressed that they still bother to lie at all. Like back in the day, for example, if a government wanted to do something terrible, like, invade Iraq because a bunch of Saudis attacked us, right? For example, they would at least try to craft a decent narrative. They used to wait for an inciting incident. Now we just get, the fishermen are drug trafficking, so we have to go take out Maduro. They do the polling, it shows that the move is unpopular. They just do it anyway. The narrative doesn't work and they just do what they want anyway. It's almost like they just run the narrative as just like an obligation, right? Just because we have to say something to the people, so we'll just tell them this. I really don't know why at this point anybody would listen to anything that comes out of this particular administration. We know that they lie to us all the time. We know that they do whatever they want to do. We know that by the time they're talking to us at all, they've already done so many things, right? He didn't ask the American people if we wanted the East Wing to be destroyed. He just did it. And once it's done, you can't undo that. Your only option is to rebuild, and he's going to rebuild it the way he wants to rebuild it. And we don't have any say in what happens to the White House. So This government it really is frustrating, and it is becoming very difficult to oppose them, but we have to keep trying. We have to do something. We have to vote out the people that we can, put better people in there, and hopefully we get a better Congress in the midterms. But it is very sad, and a lot of the things that have been entrenched with this administration are going to be very, very difficult to undo in the future, but that will be our task going forward.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.